Hey guys, Kaz here. Welcome back to FM24 with my self-made 10% challenge, where we take on the biggest team in the country, which is PSG. And we take every 1st of June, we take a snapshot of their wage spending, not their wage budget, not their wage committed, but their wage spending. And we are our new limit for the following season is 10% of that figure. So in 1st of June 2026, they spent £4,958,407 per week. So 10% of that is £495,840 per week is my new wage budget for the coming season, and that is frozen until the next 1st of June. So that's an increase of about 74,000 roughly, 73 to 74,000, which is pretty solid. A similar increase was last year. Which was about 68,000. So it seems to be going up by about 70,000 every year so far, which is pretty handy. We are on the 14th of July, so I've done some transfer business. Not all of it, not by no means, but I have done some transfer business. I will show you the players that I sold first. I sold Lafont to Bochum for £12 million, as planned. The other sales were players that had 2 years left on their contracts, and I felt I needed an upgrade. Roberto Fernandez, who was the backup striker, he had 2 years left on his contract. I sold him for £6 million. I think he was about to hit his growth ceiling. Could improve slightly. I just don't think he could have got any much better. He was a bit inconsistent. I think a few of his mental attributes weren't really helping him out too much. So I decided to move him on with 2 years left. Berggren, I sold Berggren, the ball-winning midfielder. He didn't really fit playing in a 4-4-2. I thought to give him a go because I'd only recently signed him. He didn't really fit playing a ball-winning midfielder in a 4-4-2 at all. He's more of a 3 or 4 man midfield, playing as a defensive midfielder. So yeah, that didn't really fit. So that was moved him on for 3.5 million. I sold Dua, who was the backup right back, for 3.5 million. So I made a nice profit there. I only bought him for 1.5. As you can see, he got a 6.6. And then I sold Dobre, who was the backup right winger. Again, his mental attributes were terrible. He was vastly inconsistent. He just was never consistently decent at all when I needed him. But I made a little bit of profit there, and then that was just a youngster that I didn't want anymore. In terms of signings, I got Gasparini as a backup goalkeeper. Just had a bit of depth there for backup goalkeepers. Nothing special, just extremely low wage. Just pick him up just to help out on the depth there. Lauren Kerder is the new backup right back. Now, I couldn't find one that I liked. I really couldn't find one that I liked that was at a decent wage demand. He's very similar attribute-wise to Dua. He's obviously I sold Dua for 3.5 and then I'm signed it in for 1.4. But attribute-wise, he's extremely similar to Dua. I'm just hoping that he plays better than Dua. He does have consistency in big matches. The consistency is a solid green. He brings ball out of defence for the inverted wing-back support. He's not great. I do play slightly more direct passing, so that might help. He's not good with his weak foot. I wanted someone who was a bit better with the weak foot. There is some good attributes, there's some bad attributes. He's still very quick, he's strong, and he's much better in the air than Dua, in terms of like defending set pieces, etc. Teamwork is fantastic. He's got like a little bit more vision and passing there, but his tackling is lower. His decisions isn't too great. So he's not ideal. He's only 24, which is a better age profile. There might be a little bit of growth in him, and he's got 15 plus potential, 15 plus professionalism. Sorry. So it's kind of a step sideways with that one. I'm a bit disappointed, but I'm hoping that he just performs better than Dua did. And that's where I'm putting all my hope in. I think he might be able to perform better. And then I'll have to look for a better upgrade next season. That was a bit disappointing. The striker to replace Roberto Fernandez, my plan was to get someone a little bit worse, but with better potential growth. To be back up to Nasty. And I found this lad. Kosovic. I think that's how you say it, Kosovic. Both footed, places shot is fantastic. He has really good movement. 15 off the ball, 15 anticipation, which is a huge upgrade on what Roberto Fernandez was. His finishing and composure is a little low, etc. His dribbling's a little low. He's not exactly slow. He's pretty quick, but it could improve significantly. So I think he does have a bit of a higher ceiling than Roberto Fernandes had, and he's on much less wage than Roberto Fernandes, only 9.5k, which is solid. So he's going to sit around, and he's only on fringe player. So he's going to be. The idea was to put him as the fourth choice striker, 2 striker positions, and he's the fourth choice for them. I'll tell you how that it hasn't really worked out just yet for me, that signing. I paid 6.5 million, rises to 7. This is my Bergeron replacement. A ball-winning midfielder with a little bit more about him, a bit quicker, a bit better ball carrying, a bit better passing, etc., etc. It was a very high wage. I had to break my wage limits to get him, to be honest. I only wanted to pay about 40,000 at most, and I paid 47,000 a week for him. Good with both feet, dictates tempo in that ball-winning midfielder support role. He's a lot quicker, obviously. 15 strength is fantastic. 17 work rate, 15 teamwork, 16 aggression. He's got 14s and 13s for his reading of the game here. Solid technical tackling, bit ball carrying, passing, marking. There's a lot of technique with his both-footedness. One downside, he might be slightly injury prone. He's had 2 major injuries since the start of the game. So in the last would have started the 4th season, my 3rd season. So he's had 2 major injuries in the last 3 years, which is a little worrying. But I've decided to take that risk, and there was Saudi interest in him before I signed him. So I think if it doesn't work out, I'll be able to move him on quite comfortably, despite his wages. I think I'd be able to move him on if it doesn't work out. But I think it will. I think he'll play well. I'm just a bit worried about the injury prone. That's the only thing I'm worried about. That's a lot more better like the profile of player that I wanted. So that's why I was willing to push my wages, which could cost me for other positions. And then the goalkeeper. I signed the goalkeeper real early to replace Levant. I bought the Dinamo keeper, Cavallina, for just £4 million, 15k wage. I thought to give him a go. He looks really good. He looks really, really good. I think he'll be even better once he learns French. Got like leadership and the 15 communication, etc. So once he learns French, I'm expecting some real good performances out of him. So he should be a lot better than Lafont. The deals that haven't really happened for me yet. So if you've noticed, I haven't signed a right midfielder. I haven't signed a Dobre replacement. I'm really struggling to find someone that I like for a decent wage and a decent fee. So the plans were to sell Doumbia. I've just had to cancel the Doumbia deal that I'm selling Doumbia for 3.6 million, I believe. The idea is that Kosovic is a fringe player. So the idea was to replace Doumbia with a regular starter that could be the primary backup for the false 9. And then if he needs to play, if Nasty gets injured or Nasty can't play, the idea was to move Krupi to the advance forward, and play this new false 9 that I signed. And then the backup to backup would be Kosovic then. That's why I paid such low wage and such low fee. So he was supposed to be the 4th choice if there was any problems with strikers. And that way I could play the best 2 a bit more often, or the best 3 a bit more often. The problem is I've had to cancel selling Doumbia, who's only on 6k a week, because Krupi demanded a new contract. As you can see, I've offered him a new contract. He's going up to, I think it is 30k a week, I believe. It's 28 or 30k a week from his 18. So that's kind of into the extra 10,000. So the extra £10,000 has kind of into what I would have spent for replacement of Krupi. So the idea was not Krupi, Doumbia. So I would have sold Doumbia and then signed a striker for about £20,000 wage. But I'm using that wage for Krupi now, which is a shame. So once Krupi signed a new contract and I've signed a right midfielder, I'll then have to reassess that. The other position I wanted to improve, but again I can't find players good enough and low enough wage, is I wanted to improve my centre backs, my centre defenders. The idea was to keep Amione because he did really well as expected, but Ribeiro really fell off at the end of the season. He's now 27. He did a great job for me for 2.7 million, but first half of the season he was on a 7 or a 6.9, and second half of the season he was getting like 6.7s, and it dragged his average rating down. he didn't really perform too great. I was looking for an upgrade on him, but I'm struggling to find one. So I've not even attempted to sell him. Also, Balog was a last minute backup signing. So again, I was looking for a new, potentially better backup, but that hasn't really worked out either, to be honest. So until I've sorted out the other areas, like the striker is a match-winning position, and I obviously need a backup right mid. I've only got Hussein Bazic. That might be a bit of a late transfer shuffle. In terms of where we're looking at with the wages now, I'm on 435,000. I think with the new contract for Groupie, I will go up to around 450. So there will be, if we go back to what my spending limit is, 485. There will be about 45,000 left in the wages. So I'm hoping I can get a backup right winger for like about 15 grand a week, with a wage contribution of 20k or under 20k. I'm looking for a wage contribution under 20k. That includes the main wage and bonuses, etc. So I need to find that position first before that I then look at replacing Doumbia or replacing centre backs. But I'm really struggling to find right players for all of them. Centre back, for right midfield backup, and for the midfield, for the striker backup. The one I did want, but he wants far too much wage, was let's quickly show you there. Iliev for the false 9, I think would have been really good, but he wants £40,000 wage. If he wanted 25 or 30, then it would have been great. But he wants 40. He wants 40 to 50,000 wage. I can't really do that. I think I got him down to about 38 maybe, but it's still too much. It's still too much, sadly. So there's a lot of deliberating to do. I need to do one stage at a time. I need to do one stage at a time for the transfers. But my first team 11 is improved, but I don't think the backup has improved. Is what I'm worried about so far this season. I don't think the backup has improved. But Kajust and Cavallina should be better than Lafont and Berggren for sure. The one last thing for me to tell you, I forgot to mention it last video. Stade Rennais have Jose Mourinho in charge now, because they got taken over by a Japanese tycoon. So they're going to be a bit of a pain. They're not going to be spending the wages that PSG are spending. I don't have to worry about taking account of them for now. But they do have money and they have started spending it. Just quickly run through some transfers they've done. They signed Morato from Forest, a good centre-back. They've signed Clem for £20 million. And they've signed Caprile from Napoli, the goalkeeper. So they're making some good signings, some good tycoon-like signings right now. And they'd already made a couple before then. Rafa Marin came in for big money, the centre back. They've got Ostergaard, they've got Bornau, they signed Omega from Strasbourg. So they're making moves, so they're going to be a bit of a pain. Anyway, I will be streaming later today. There's a Liverpool match tonight, so it will be. The plan is a couple of hours before the Liverpool match I'll stream, and a couple of hours after the Liverpool match I'll stream. That's my plan. I don't know if I'll stick to that plan, but that's the idea. The Twitch link is down below in the description. Go give the channel a follow and get involved in the streams and come watch the streams, etc. and see how it gets on. And like and comment on this video if you wish, or subscribe to this channel as well, this YouTube channel, to keep up to date with anything that you miss. And I shall see you guys in the stream later today or in tomorrow's video.